Hello, everybody. My name is Joshua, and I'm joined today with my cousin Samuel. Today, we are going to present a presentation about a book.
The book that we're going to present is written by Sean Colby, and it's about 7 habits.
Uh, in this book, there are a total of 7 habits, like it says, and the 7 habits are: the first one, be proactive; the second one, begin with the end in mind; the third one, put first things first; the fourth one, think win-win; the fifth one, seek first to understand, then to be understood; the sixth one, synergize; and the seventh one, sharpen the saw.
The first one, be proactive. There are two types of people in proactive and world. There are proactive people and reactive people. Proactive people are the people that when they face a problem, they see the problem as a level or a stage, and they tend to try to overcome it and go to the next level. While reactive people, they face a problem. When they see a problem, they tend to run away from it or face away from it. For an example, uh, a best friend of ours, a best friend of mine, talks behind my back. So if I'm a proactive person, I would have a mindset of maybe he's just having a bad day, or maybe he's just not in the mood today, or maybe he's not eating right. If it's reactive people, they will have a mindset of um, man, he's such a bad friend, I will find a new friend instead, like finding a new best friend. The next point is uh, live your life as a winner. So in this situation, there's also two types of people, like a winner and a loser. The winner is a people that never give up and keeps on moving forward no matter what happens. So when they face a problem, they just keep on moving forward uh, while just dodging and skipping the obstacles around the way. While a loser is a person who tend to make excuses when they don't reach their goal. They tend to play the victim role, should I say, yeah, the victim role. So, for an example, foot race. So, there's two people in a foot race. One is a proactive and one's a reactive. One's a winner and one's a loser, or a guy who plays victim. Um, the winner, even though he loses, will always still win because he has a mindset of even though I lose this time, I will keep on moving forward and practice harder to win the next races. If it's the loser or the victim, uh, they will tend to have a mindset of they will blame others and play the victim role because they will have a mindset like I don't have an expensive shoe, or I sleep late last night, so I'm exhausted today and I lost the race. Yeah, they tend to create excuses. Next slide.
The next chapter is begin with the end in mind. In this chapter, we are taught that we should have a clear picture of where we want to be in the future. This includes our goals and maybe our values that we want to have in life. By having a clear picture of where we want to be in the future, we won't only be making an advantage at making decisions because we already know our values and our goals. We will also ensure that we will get to control our own future and do the things that we actually want to do. This is very important since many people can't control their own futures. They end up following other people's mindset and goals and values, and they end up not doing what they want. Of course, making goals and values are not as easy as it sounds. One of the hardest parts of making goals and values is finding what you're good at or what are your talents. This might be easy for certain people since their talent stands out and they attract a lot of attention, such as maybe you're good at singing or you're good at making playing an instrument. But most people, they aren't as easy as to find. as these people because their talents don't attract a lot of attention and they aren't as easy to find. Let's say your talent is maybe you're a good listener, or maybe you're good at focusing, maybe you're funny, or maybe it's just as simple as you're good at being nice. Um, because of this, we need to have an open mindset when we try to find our talents. Mm, we can't have thoughts like, oh, that's impossible, I can't do that, or maybe that's not for me. In finding our talents, anything is possible and nothing's the limit. After we have determined our goals and values, the next step to making a clear future is, of course, making friends. Friends are very good and useful in our lives because they provide us connections and they also allow us to stay true to our goals and even see things in a different viewpoint. Because we already know our goals and values, we need to choose friends depending on our goals and values. Uh,
All right, for the third chapter, put first things first. So in this chapter that I've read so far, I found that there are four quadrants. There's a saying called the four quadrants of time management. There are important, not important, urgent, and not urgent. So in the first quadrant or quadrant one, it's important and also urgent. Such examples are natural disasters or emergencies such as earthquakes and maybe your house was set on fire. For the second quadrant or quadrant two is not urgent but important. In this quadrant, the examples are um, like uh, calendar making or doing stuff that will be useful for you in the future, like like doing stuff that will increase your life expectancy. And for the third quadrant, it is not important but urgent, such as calls, phone calls, and other stuff like chats, or maybe your teachers calling you, not your teacher, your friends calling you, or something like that. And the final one is the fourth quadrant. It is not important and not urgent. The examples are bad habits such as eating yogurt with a fork or swimming with your shoes on, etc., etc. And for the next point is to overcome our pressure. In our life, we often face hardships and downfalls. And when those times come, one of the best things to do is we need to strengthen our hearts. Because if we strengthen our hearts, we will end up moving forward without really realizing it. And the thing is about strengthening our hearts is that it is one of the most important things in our lives. It's just like a piggy bank, but instead of money, we fill it with inner peace and happiness. So whenever we face a hardship or downfalls, we just open up that piggy bank and use it to move forward.
After the third chapter, we have the fourth chapter, which is Think Win Win. In this chapter, we learn to have a win win attitude toward life. What is a win win attitude? A win win attitude is a mental frame of mind that says everyone can win. Most people in this world think that maybe I will win and others will lose. This is called a win lose attitude. A win win attitude is the opposite of this. The benefits of having a win win attitude is that it changes the way you think and how you feel at every situation. It'll give you confidence in everything you do. Of course, since it has lots of benefits, it isn't an easy mindset to get. The first step to having a win win mindset is to believe that we are equal. No one is inferior and no one is superior. A lot of people, usually in our age, um, they always use a ranking system. Let's say he's superior to me, he's inferior to me. This is not a win win attitude. If we want to have a win win attitude, we have to get rid of these thoughts and only focus to ourselves. Um, because when we are competing, we will end up only wanting to be better than others. An example of this is John. Let's say John failed a test at school. Um, but Because his score is better than his friend's score, John doesn't care. John feels happy. He feels that he already did enough. This is not a win-win attitude. This is a bad attitude. Because John only cares about competing with his friends, he won't have a reason to better himself, to actually get a good score in the test. A win-win attitude is an attitude where I don't care about others. I don't care if they have a good score or a bad score. I just care that I will be better than my previous self. When we do this, let's say if John had a win-win attitude, uh, rather than let's say, oh no, I already had better score than my friends, so I don't care if I fail or not. John will have an attitude saying that I need to get better because I don't have a good score. A win-win mindset will always strive for success, and that's why we have to have one.
In the fifth chapter, seek first to understand, then to be understood. In this chapter, the point that I got is that there are five bad listening habits that we must not use in our life. We must not use, or we must yeah, just don't use it. The first one is spacing out. Spacing out is like when someone is talking to us, where we space out. We're not on either it's we're not listening or we're thinking of something else. That's spacing out. The second one is uh, pretend listening. Pretend listening is actually worse than spacing out because spacing out because pretend listening is, for example, someone's talking to me and I pretend that I listen, but in fact that I don't listen at all. So he thought that I got the point, but actually don't. The third one is selective listening. It is when I only listen to the things that I find important. So if there's this math problem, or maybe there's this science article, I only read the part, or maybe someone's telling me about, and I only listen to the part that I found interesting. The fourth one uh, is word listening. So we only listen to the words and only the words. So we don't look at their gestures. We don't feel what they're feeling. So just focused on paying attention to the words. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the final one is that um, self-centered listening. It is when we listen, but everything we talk about is all from our perspective. For example, we're talking about me and my friend is talking about firefighters, and about firefighters is on my perspective is that all firefighters wear red firefighter suit, and my friend said his dad is a firefighter who's wearing blue firefighter suit, and and in my opinion, my friend is lying because it's all from my perspective. And those are the five things that you don't want to have um, in your daily uh, talking. And the second point that I got from this chapter is honestly listening. So this point teaches me how to be an excellent listener because uh, we don't only listen with our ears, but we also listen with our eyes and our hearts. So if we see our friend and he is looking like he is sad, so first of all, we need to set a mindset that our friend is sad. So we must change the mood to blue mood or sad mood so we understand what he's talking better. And uh, so when you got the right mode on, you can really understand. And to be an excellent listener, you must try and put yourself in their shoes or see through their perspective. So, for example, someone is talking about their friend is hurt or their teacher is too strict. So try and looking at from another's perspective, from their perspective. For example, ask a question like, "Oh, did the teacher do this every day?" Or maybe a question like, "Oh, is he actually really that strict?" Like make a question that sounds like you care, but really mean it that you really care, but don't make it to sound too shabby. Yeah, that's the point I got from this chapter.
The next chapter is synergy. Synergy is when someone or two or more people work together. Synergy is also another word for teamwork. Uh, People usually use synergy to accomplish something that they can't achieve on their own. By doing things together, people end up achieving way more than they can do by doing it themselves. It also helps us understand problems from different perspectives. Let's say me and Peter are having a quarrel about erasers. I borrowed Peter's eraser, but I gave it back to him 1 day late. In Peter's perspective, I am not giving the eraser back at the right time. While in my perspective, I think that Peter is making a fuss about pretty much nothing. Now, by using synergy and by working together, we can discuss our problems and find a compromise that we're both happy with and find a solution to our problems. But if we don't use synergy and we just fight with our words, it'll end up being fight where violence or maybe we'll just get mad at each other and nothing is solved. Most people think that working together is a burden and isn't a good thing. This is only because most people don't know how to work together efficiently. The best way to increase efficiency when working together is like before in my and Peter's case is to change our point of view. Let's say when we are having a quarrel inside our team, we have to put we have to imagine having our shoes inside theirs. We have to imagine that what would it feel like if I were in his shoes? What would it feel like if I were having the same problem as he is? Would I react like this or would I react like that? By doing that, we could achieve harmony and we both can find more solutions. Another big problem when working together is people don't appreciate differences. Most people think that differences can actually cause problems and it can cause uh, conflict in the team. But this isn't always the case. In my opinion, differences is actually really good. It allows us, like before, to see from different points of views. It also allows us to create more creative solutions and innovate through so that our results could be better and more fitting to most people.
The final chapter, sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw is also a habit from this book, and from this habit, we learned that all about sharpening a saw, is that when you sharpen a saw, this habit sharpening the saw, it's all about sharpening yourself. So the first point is how to sharpen yourself is to relax, because this all the seven habits, the six of them before is the saw. So if you want to keep that habits going on greatly, you need to sharpen it. How do you sharpen it? You relax yourself, because we are still human and we need to relax and take a break from our daily hardships and daily activities. So yeah, the second point is use it or lose it. uh, eh, if you find yourself stuck at some point in life, you must at least review where you went wrong or where you took the wrong turn. So once you get that wrong turn, you can dispose of it. Even though if you can't dispose it or you can't lose it, at least just find a way to get over it and overcome it. The whole point of this chapter is to sharpen the saw, because um, once you have a sharpened saw, you can slice through or cut through your daily problems or your life problems easily, because uh, just like I said earlier, that the sharper the saw, the easier you cut. So how do you sharpen it? By relaxing yourself and enjoying your life. Yeah, so that's the point of this chapter.
That is all for our presentation on the book Seven Habits for Highly Effective Teens. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope this presentation might be a benefit to you. God bless, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Very good, very good, very good. Samuel and Joshua.